Hello, it's Liam. Thanks for being here. It's not Superbooth, it's not KnobCon, it's KnobSession, which is an electronic music gear festival that takes place at the same time as MUTEC, a artist music festival happening in Montreal. KnobSession actually also takes place in other locations around the world, so maybe keep an eye out for that. Maybe it's happening in a place near you. This video is sponsored by DistroKid. Are you someone who wants to upload your music to major streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Tidal, everything else? You need to go through a music distribution company in order to do that, and DistroKid is the best option for independent artists like myself and possibly you. More on that later in this video. There's also affiliate links in the description of this video for all of the gear mentioned. Use those links if you'd like to support what I do. I make a small commission from that sale. Doesn't cost you anything extra. And now let's get right to it. The three standouts, starting with Ableton Push 3. And this is the bigger, more expensive standalone version that I tried out. And I have a bunch to say about this, so stay with me here. Yes, the Push 3 does pretty much everything that the Ableton software is capable of doing within the standalone unit, including Max for live devices, so it does go very deep. But I met a touring artist at MUTEC who tried Push 3 for a much longer period than I did, and they have different things to say about it, good and bad. I just wanted to summarize how Push 3 would work for someone with my background, with my live set the way it is in its current iteration. I use Ableton Live on my laptop as well as the Novation Launchpad X for launching scenes. Upon seeing Push 3, I immediately realized that it would be cool to have both of those things in one device, which is part of what Push 3 is or could be. So it completely eliminates the need for a laptop on stage. If you wanted, you could launch scenes using the jog wheel to scroll and select. You also have the option of setting it up like a launch pad, just having all of your scenes on each of the pads and launching them that way. But if you do use the jog wheel for scenes, well, then you have all of these other things that you could do with the pads. Currently, I'm using the TR-8S for drums and also as an Ableton Live controller. So I'm wondering if the Push 3 would be able to take on the brunt of that workflow as well without being too menu divey. That's one cool thing about the TR-8S is that everything is just right there. You have all your faders and your knobs. For the way that I have it set up, there's virtually zero menu diving. And so would the Push 3 be able to cover that sort of efficiency? I'm not sure at this point. Based on what I've seen, I'm actually leaning towards no, unless I picked up like an external MIDI controller, which would be redundant in this case. It's got 2 audio outs on the unit as well as 8 ADAT audio outs. So you're able to configure which tracks you want to go to which outs, which is great. For me, this is important because I'm splitting up tracks on an analog mixer, so I need those outs. And so the tempting part right now is that within my set, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that I have to travel with, and the Push 3 could potentially cover like maybe 3 of those things in one unit, possibly even a 4-in-1 type deal if it's able to cover the TR-8S workflow that I'm working with. So yeah, I'm not sure if it works for me. It definitely is tempting for the reasons that I just mentioned. That being said, there is some bad too, and I'm going to spill the beans on this one. As I mentioned, I spoke with an artist who performed at MUTEC. I'm not going to mention who they are because they probably wouldn't appreciate that in this context. They're an avid Ableton Live user. In fact, that's how they put together their live set. And they were lent Push 3 to try it out. Based on what they mentioned, I'm not sure if Push 3 works as like a standalone production tool, like a studio production tool, at least in comparison to using Ableton Live in a laptop, which is way quicker. Yes, you do have more or less the same access, precision, and flexibility as using the software. It's just the efficiency and especially the menu diving that will really slow down your production process. On top of that, you're limited to Ableton stock plugins, which could be limiting depending on, if you're using external plugins within your set. And the final bad thing, my peeps, is that it gets hot. She gets warm. Apparently, it tends to overheat after like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And to me, that's like the biggest about potentially purchasing the Push 3. Because I have experience with this, I know how frustrating this can be, even if you're just like relaxed, sitting at home doing a session. Bringing that into a live session would just be anxiety provoking. So that's what I heard about it. I know that updates are capable of fixing these sorts of things, so that could be happening down the line. Hopefully they will fix that after getting all of these different perspectives. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about the Push 3. It definitely made the biggest impression on me, but I don't know. We'll see how it develops. Simple. I like simple. I had a chance to try out the Minilogue bass. I actually recently picked up a Novation bass station, which I think is like the closest comparison that I could think of. The price, the size, the workflow is similar. In fact, here, just to give you an idea, here is the Novation bass station. So that's the size of it. It's analog, it's monophonic, it's built for bass. And I'll do like another kind of side comparison here because I do think that it's relevant. The sequential Trigon 6, which is not like a super new unit, but they very recently released the desktop version of it, which is new. It's still pretty big, but it saves a lot more space than the full-sized Trigon 6. The thing about sequential synths is that they're great, but they're not quite as user-friendly. They take some getting used to. But in comparison to something like the Minilogue bass and a lot of Korg's other synths where the sequencer is just so easy, you plug in the notes, you hit record, you play the notes, you press play, the notes will play back to you. Like, it's so much easier to use. Let's hear a few more examples. Before getting into the third standout for me, let's talk about today's sponsor, DistroKid. Use them to officially distribute your music. First off, there's a discount linked in the description of this video, which I encourage you to use. It's just over $20 a year to release unlimited music to all major streaming platforms. And one of the things that makes it amazing for independent artists is just the sheer amount of free promotional tools that they offer. Personally, my favorite is Hyperfollow, which I like to use as a free link and bio link. It's the cleanest that I could find, and you're able to claim as many pages as you'd like for free. So for example, if you have multiple artist names or possibly landing pages for singles or any other important landing pages, DistroKid's got you with Hyperfollow. They recently released an iOS app so you can access all of your DistroKid information, your statistics, all through your smartphone, which just makes everything that much easier and like on the go. So join the team. There's over 1 million DistroKid users and they distribute 1/3 of the world's music. Soma Enner, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I checked out Terra as well. I think that that's Soma Laboratory's newest instrument. I might be wrong on that one, but it's one of their newest ones. I tried it, but Enner was the real standout for me in the Soma little corner of KnobSession. And I think that that's because it's a bit more of a similar workflow to Lyra 8, so I kind of had something to latch onto there. In this section over here, you could tune up your notes. And then with this knob, you could tune them all together. And that was the part that I was able to latch onto because of Lyra. But Enner is so much more than that. Essentially, you're sending sources to the middle of the pyramid here, and it's a very sensitive stereo image, which could be a very useful sound design effect. So in this case, the top is open, and then as you go down, you've got like a low pass filter going on. When you send to the top of the pyramid, you're sending to the stereo delay, which you're hearing here. Like all of Soma's effects, super unique, high quality. That's what you would expect from them. After that, there's pulses that I could send to the left or the right. And I could mess around with that using the speed knob to change the speed of those pulses. Another thing I learned, you might notice the spring here. With the cloud here, I can activate the mic that's inside the pyramid, and from there, I could tap the unit with my hand or with some other object, maybe a percussive object. So this opens up another sonic realm of possibilities, and it can be sent to the delay as well. And shout out to TechnoSynth for teaching me how to use Enner as well as Terra. And that pretty much covers it. This is what I have for you guys today, KnobSession 2023. Hopefully this was informative to you in some way. Was super happy to be a part of this festival again this year. I'll definitely be going back next year as well. Affiliate links for everything linked in the description of this video. Please use those, it helps me a lot. There's also a Patreon linked in the description. I have a bunch of exclusive content that you guys might be interested in. Thank you so much for being here and hope to see you soon.